Prince Harry and Meghan Markle quit social media for good as they plan to return to London.
Of course, Meghan and Harry, they have said in the past that they don't like the harassment and the mean words that they read on social media about themselves, and that it really affects them.
The Queen gets vaccinated, Kate celebrates 39, and Prince William says thanks to the frontline workers.
It echoes many of the comments and evidence that I've heard of in the last few weeks. And it has clearly been climbing at a quite staggering rate across the country.
Plus, former royal chef Darren McGrady reveals what the Crown got wrong.
And when I see the Crown and see that and think, you know what, you don't know the whole truth.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hello to our fellow royal lovers and welcome to Royally Us. I'm Christina, that's Molly, the host of the Diva Behavior Podcast. Molly, welcome to another week of Royals.
Another week of royals, and they're not really, keeping us on our toes this week, but it's good. We can sort of reflect on past royal moments.
Yes, I know they've been, kind of easing into the new year, it seems like, not really doing too much, but still enough for us to talk about. But before we get to all of that, let's of course check in with our royal viewers, our royal watchers who had a lot to say about last week's show. So let's start with Joanne Baker. Says, I don't believe for 1 second that Harry requested an extension. That's such nonsense. When Harry left, he was adamantly against the year review. Harry and Meghan don't need anything from the royals. In fact, the royals need them to remain relevant. Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, I can see both sides of this one. I think she's definitely got a point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally. And we don't, of course, there's reports that they asked for this extension, which we talked about last week. We don't know for certain if that is true, but a lot of people in the comments don't seem to believe that they wanted this because they were the ones that approached the royal family to leave. So we'll see. Next one goes to Eve. Eve says, why extension? They should let them free now that they have succeeded. The podcast was excellent, very relevant. A lot of people love the podcast too.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was relevant, and it was sort of a wrap-up of the end of the year. I was just saying, for me personally, the last thing I wanted to think about was what just happened in 2020.
Seriously. No, totally, yes. Nobody needs to relive that. But and nobody needs to really relive the last 10 days of the new year. So
right. It still was really well done, though. Nice music, nice quality.
Totally. And the last one goes to Fern, says, Harry and Meghan do not need the royal family. They are way more successful on their own anyways. Why would they ever consider coming back? I don't know. I mean, well, a lot of this, we talked about, has to do with Harry, still maintaining his military titles, which I think is really important to him. And that's probably something that they want to work out. But, if you leave the royal family, you probably can't have it all.
Right. And I think maybe there will come a day when Meghan and Harry are no longer the it couple of the moment, and maybe they will want a little bit of a quieter life back within the royal fold. You just never know. So I guess that might be why they want to keep that door open.
Mm-hmm. No, totally. Give it another 10 years, and when Prince George starts dating, we don't even know their names anymore. All right, well, let's get to our royal roundup, our royal news of the week. And we have to kick it off by wishing Duchess Kate a very happy 39th birthday. We're getting some reports about how maybe she celebrated the last year in her 30s, but she did take to social media to say that this birthday definitely looked different, which I think a lot of people can relate to.
Absolutely. She's a Capricorn. She is the consummate Capricorn. So am I. And I think we all thought that by the time Capricorn season rolled around, birthdays would be back to normal. And of course, in the UK, that has not been the case. We are in full on lockdown. So it was nice that she sort of acknowledged that. And she posted a photo with a mask on even.
Yeah, definitely. And we're hearing some reports that she might have had like a little bit of a tea party, right?
Yes, apparently what she normally does on her birthday is she has a big group of people go shooting, which I did not know. I mean, nothing says happy birthday like shooting a pheasant out of the sky, I guess, in the UK. But yeah, apparently this year she just had a quiet tea party at home with the kids, which sounds adorable.
It sounds lovely. I'm sure that is the way to celebrate. And of course, the royal family wished her a very happy birthday as well. But, nobody, like you said, nobody could really get together. Nobody could see each other. So it was a quiet evening at home, which I'm sure she really appreciated. All right. Well, Kate was celebrating her birthday. Prince William was busy on Zoom, and he took some time out to thank the staff from Homerton University Hospital in London to hear about their experiences in recent weeks and to offer his thanks for their continued efforts as the coronavirus rages on in the UK. Take a listen.
How's morale in general? I mean, everyone here has been very chipper and kind of being very upfront and upbeat about things, but are you picking up that sort of thing across the whole hospital?
I have to say, I think this week for us, starting vaccinating has probably had one of the single most significant impacts.
It is nice that he's still taking the time out to thank these frontline workers, because I think, even though we are almost a year into this, it seems like it is worse than ever.
Yes, this hospital where he was speaking, Homerton University Hospital, they had their highest number of admissions since the pandemic began this week. It's just only getting worse and worse. And one thing that William said that I thought was really interesting was, we're making sure that our children understand the sacrifices that all of you, the workers at this hospital, are making.
Yeah, no, I think it's so important, and one of the workers said, at least there is that silver lining that we have the vaccine, and hopefully more and more people can get it. And, maybe by the end of this year, we could put this behind us, but it's definitely there. Hopefully there's an end in sight.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking bleak over here in the UK.
Yeah, same over here too. It really is. All right. Well, speaking of the coronavirus, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip did both get their COVID-19 vaccine, and they did they usually, I feel like, keep their health issues pretty private, but in this matter, they decided to make it public, right?
Yes, I think they wanted to sort of send out a message that they feel there is nothing to be afraid of when it comes to the vaccine, because, some things are flying around on social media and everything, and they're leading by example. And it's a reminder of World War II. And that's sort of when Queen Elizabeth made everyone sort of fell in love with her and her family in World War II, because they led by example by staying in London and braving it out during the Blitz. And now she's sort of doing the same thing again with the vaccine. So
right.
I think it was a very well thought out decision to reveal this.
And she is in the bracket of the age that the people that should be getting it at this moment. So it's not like they skipped the line and jumped the line. She is in that age bracket where she should be getting the vaccine. So definitely a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Leading by great example for sure.
100%. Well, let's move on to Meghan Markle, because we've been talking about her legal battles for months now. And, it's been going on for almost a year and a half, but it may be coming to an abrupt end with a summary judgment. Now, this is interesting because she has been fighting the Mail on Sunday for, like we said, almost a year and a half, but this may be just coming to an end.
Right. So basically what's happening is Meghan's lawyers are going to argue to the judge that there's no way that the Mail on Sunday's parent company can win this case. And if they can prove that, then the judge will just issue a summary judgment and it won't go to trial. But don't you think from most of what we've heard, it seems like they have a pretty good case?
I feel like they do. I feel like they have a really good case. And we said, this has already been postponed. It's now happening in the fall. I feel like they put so much time and effort into this for it to just come to an end with no resolution. I feel like we kind of have to see this one through.
Yeah. And it seems like maybe Meghan's lawyers are throwing up a Hail Mary pass right now, to just be like, we really don't want any more information getting out into the public about the inner workings of, Meghan and Harry's private lives and everything. Right. So it's understandable why they would want to go this route. But I mean, from what I've read, it just seems like this might not work.
No, I don't think so, because, and then, I mean, every single step up to this point, it really hasn't gone in Meghan's favor. So I don't think that this is going to happen too. I mean, they did bring in Finding Freedom. They're saying that they can use that as some evidence as well. So I really don't think that this is going to end well for Meghan and Harry.
Yeah. If they get a sympathetic judge who doesn't read the gossip pages.
Right.
But if they get anyone who, might side with the Mail on Sunday, then it's not going to be looking good for them.
Not going to be looking good. Not at all. Well, she may have to make a trip over to London in the fall for this trial, but we'll have to wait and see. All right. Well, now it is time to spill the royal tea, and let's keep talking about Harry and Meghan, because this is interesting. There were some reports flying around this week that they have completely sworn off social media. for 1 year after stepping away from their royal duties, but they haven't really had a personal presence since they left, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be having one at all anymore.
Yeah, and I think this is another example of leading by great example because, social media, of course, Meghan and Harry, they have said in the past that they don't like the harassment and the mean words that they read on social media about themselves, and that it really affects them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people have sort of, myself included, we've convinced ourselves that we need social media in order to be plugged in and in order to be successful in various different fields. And I think it's really cool to see two of the most successful, talked about people in the world say, you know what, we're going to do it without social media.
Yeah.
And maybe more people will feel like, yeah, maybe I don't have to spend 2 hours of each day doom scrolling through Twitter and stressing myself out.
No, that's so true. And they even said, I don't think Archewell is going to have a social media platform too. I mean, like you said, they're probably going to be using their podcast and other interviews and ways like that to kind of reach their audience, which I think is, kind of helpful right now because social media is like kind of, it's very controversial. Everybody is, has all these opinions and I don't know. It's just become a bit of a mess lately.
Yeah. Social media is such a double-edged sword. It can be a really great communication tool, and it can also be an effective tool for making you feel terrible about yourself and about the world. And I think it's also really amazing how what they've been doing to release news about themselves is using different nonprofit organizations' social media channels. Like when they released their Christmas card on the Mayhew Animal Organization's Twitter account, that's just such a smart way of doing it. Sort of like sharing the spotlight with those of us who do still have to go on social media in order to get our message out. So I don't blame them, and I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, no, totally. It seems like they are, navigating a new path for ways to reach the audience. And I like it. I do.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is. All right. Well, now that we said it's been a year since they stepped back from the royal family, and there's all these rumors going around that there's an extension, and there are now reports that they are officially done with their royal duties. So do we know if Harry and Meghan are going to meet with the royal family? It seems like some people say yes, some people say no, and some people are like, they're just kind of washing their hands of this.
Yeah, this report that I saw, I had not really realized that they're saying now that there was never a plan for a formal sit down to sort of go over what's gone on and everything. So it just, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think they're just going to kind of keep going the way they're going? It doesn't really seem like they need to take any sort of action anyway.
No, it doesn't seem, I just feel like, because it officially ends, I think, on March 31st. So I don't think that they're going to make a big announcement about it. I don't think they're going to make a big deal about it. I think they're just going to kind of say, okay, privately, this is over. Now, if you want to continue doing what you're doing, fine. And that's it. We're going to move on. I don't think that there's going to be this huge sit down and this big dramatic meeting between everybody via Zoom. I just think that it's worked out for Harry and Meghan. They seem very happy. They're doing what they want to do. Why would they need to go back?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that might come up in the British press might be whether they're still taking any money from the crown at all. And that's probably what we're going to see coverage about. And it seems like they're not, but who knows? I have no idea. But that will probably be the one thing that the palace might have to speak out about and clarify for people. But other than that, it just seems like they'll keep going.
Right. Well, with Spotify and Netflix, I think they're making bank. I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah, I don't think they need an allowance from Charles anymore.
I don't think so. I think they're good. All right. Well, moving on to our royal history moment of the week. And it appears that the Trooping of the Color is on as of right now. And Harry and Meghan may return for that. And that happens in June. So this is kind of a big deal. This is the first time that they will probably be back in London since, they left and then the pandemic happened. So they really haven't been able to come back.
Yeah, this is a big deal. And this is such an iconic event. And it's really, I think the fact that they are thinking of coming back for this. It's going to be a real show of unity. It's a real stamp of approval from the Queen that she's okay with everything that they've done so far if they are able to go to this.
Right.
So I think it's going to be a really important sort of moment to put everything behind them.
Definitely. And it's her 95th birthday celebration. I mean, what's better than that?
Yeah. 95. I can't imagine.
I can't imagine. And it will be a historic moment because if everything does go as planned, it feels like this will be the first big normal event since the pandemic.
Yeah, and what a great thing that would be for it to be her 95th birthday and have everything feel sort of back to normal. Yeah. And it is always an outdoor event, so that might even make it more, plausible that it will go on ahead and be sort of normal. Maybe without crowds, but still the rest of it, because they're all on horses, so they're all pretty socially distant.
Yeah. That's true. Well, fingers crossed that this could all happen because we need something to look forward to.
Yeah, and Meghan always has the most iconic Trooping the Color outfits. I just have to throw in when she wore that pink little tilted hat. I just love what she picks every time. I love to see their spring royal fashions that would never have anything to do with my life. It's just great to see every year.
No, we really haven't had much royal fashion these past few months, so we need a burst of fashion in our lives.
Absolutely.
All right, well, now it is time to break down the royal rules, and this week former chef Darren McGrady sits down with us to talk about what is real and what is fake on season 4 of The Crown. Take a look.
Would you say that the most recent season of The Crown depicted it accurately, or do you think that something got lost in translation?
I think The Crown was fantastic. I really enjoyed watching it. The first few seasons were great. And for me, it was, seeing the Queen's nanny in the early season, seeing the Queen's nanny so young and thinking, wow, you were so young once, look at that. And, how we've all aged. But the last season, my goodness, they really went for the artistic license, and the Queen. I don't know. I liked the first Queen. The second one, I'm not so keen on. She doesn't smile enough in there. The Queen has a great sense of humor. She is always smiling, and you don't really see that in there. And of course we've got the bulimia and everything else coming in this one. So season 4 is not one of my favorites.
Yeah. Do you think that they did? Or did they take a lot of liberties with Diana and Charles's story?
I think that some of those were, a little artistic license too. You see them in Australia sort of arguing and fighting, but, they were happy there. And the same as, at Balmoral Castle, when we had the Gillies Ball, I remember standing there and watching Prince Charles and Princess Diana dancing together. And they were spinning and spinning, and the princess loved to dance. And so she took advantage, and she was spinning the prince faster and faster and faster. And he was laughing louder and louder. And when I see The Crown and see that and think, you know what, you don't know the whole truth.
One more thing about The Crown. Did they get it right where the Queen always eats poached salmon? Is that correct?
Oh my goodness, that thing with the Queen eating poached salmon. No, I mean, the Queen loved poached salmon. Absolutely she did, especially at Balmoral. I mean, if you think, the Queen Mother and Prince Charles would be out fly fishing in the River Dee, bringing fresh salmon in, didn't get much better than that. So yes, she loved the salmon, but not all the time. Funny story though with the salmon. When I was cooking for Princess Diana and working with her, I remember the office calling me and saying, Princess Diana's going to Bernardo's children's home for a lunch, charity lunch. And they've asked what her favorite meal is, what she likes. And I said, oh, she loves salmon, poached salmon. And so thought nothing more about it. About 4 weeks later, the princess came into the kitchen and she said, Darren, I'm starving. What's for lunch? And I said, lunch is almost ready. She says, oh, please tell me it's not poached salmon. What is it right now? Everywhere you go, everyone's serving poached salmon. And I suddenly thought, oh my gosh, they're telling everyone poached salmon. As soon as she gone, I called the office and said, she loves chicken, grilled chicken, give her grilled chicken.
I mean, nobody really knows better than him. I mean, he had a front row seat to everything going on. So
I know. When we spoke to him, it was just blowing my mind, everything that he was saying about how well he knew them all and everything. Wow.
I know, so cool. Such an interesting, and it feels like everybody that has been close to the royal family, I mean, we've talked about this weeks on end, that season 4 of The Crown didn't really do the royal family justice.
Yeah, that really seems to be the resounding opinion of people who have been,
Totally. All right. Well, before we wrap up, we of course have to check in with our pint-sized palace, our royal kids, and it seems like Kate and William have found themselves homeschooling their children once again, like so many other parents around the world.
Yes. So schools shut down from January 5th onward with the latest British lockdown. It's our 3rd for anyone who's keeping track. And so, George and Charlotte are not going to Thomas's Battersea anymore. Apparently, the school is only open for children of frontline workers and essential workers. And I think probably if William and Kate wanted to, they could have argued that they're essential, but they didn't, which I think is really cool. They said, we can homeschool our kids, so we will, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And, Kate and William have talked about how hard it is in the past to homeschool. And I'm sure they do have a lot of help too, but, juggling everything. And, she said, I think at one point during a holiday, they kept the schoolwork going just to kind of keep them in the rhythm of everything, because it's hard to keep them focused on, a Zoom call all day long.
I know. And William said on a podcast that he didn't know how to do year 2 math, which I thought was really funny.
That is hysterical. Math is definitely a lot different than when we were in school.
Yeah, I've seen stuff about that online, and I'm like, God bless any parent who's trying to figure that out, because
seriously, yes.
they changed it.
They really did. I couldn't even do it now. I'm not looking forward to that in a couple years.
They had told us that math was math and that it never changes, and then they changed it.
Changed it all on us. Ridiculous. All right, well, Molly, thank you for running down all things royals with me, as always.
Thank you, Christina.
All right, well, check back on Us Weekly's YouTube page every Wednesday at 10:30 for all your royal news. And if you want even more than that, make sure to head on over to usmagazine.com. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we will see you guys next time.